Thanks for tuning in at Brackeys.
Hello everyone and welcome to video number 4 in the How to Program in C# course. Today we're going to be taking a look at what is called conditional logic, or more specifically, if statements. So this will allow us to expand upon our program and teach it how to make decisions based on certain criteria. And that really expands or really opens up on all kinds of different software that we can then write. So this is really an important lesson. Cool. So before we get started, I just want to thank Daedalus for providing today's wallpaper. It's super cool. I've just started this thing called developer wallpapers, where you guys can submit development or Brackeys related designs and have a chance to get featured. And also included in the HD wallpaper pack. So whether or not you just want to download some cool wallpapers or submit a cool design of yours, you should head over to brackeys.com/wallpapers and you can download them here, or check out the thread where all of the designs are submitted, and you can review those that didn't make it to the wallpaper pack. Cool. So now that we have that out of the way, let's head into Xamarin Studio. And I just quickly want to walk you through how I solved the challenge from the last video. So I asked you to make a program that will divide two numbers and print out the result. And here's what I came up with. I've added a bit of extra spice just to show you something cool called a goto. So first off, let's try and run this program. And you can see that it asks for a number, apparently, a number to be divided. And we can type in 30. Then it asks for a number to divide by, and let's type in 5. And once we hit enter, it says that 30 divided by 5 is equal to 6. But the cool thing here is that when we now hit any key, it says, you can see that it loops and again asks for a number to be divided. So I've added this loop. So what I've done is basically declared two int values. I've written out that you should enter a number and converted it to an int and all that. And then written out the result down here, which you can check out. Just type directly in here if you want it to look exactly as I've done it here. Just gonna correct the error there. And then what I've done down here is I've waited for the user to press a key using console.read key. Then I've made some empty space by using an empty console.write line. So it's just gonna make a new line. And then I've used the goto. So basically up here, I've written start and then a colon. And that allows me to, later in the code, write goto and then start and then a semicolon to jump back up to that start statement up here. So that will basically just loop the program. I could also put this, let's say, down here. And now whenever we go through this and do 30, then 5, and then hit enter, you can see it just prints the result again because it just jumps back to the place where we print the result. So you can put that different places in your code to make it easier on yourself. One thing you will notice is that if we play this and do 3 divided by 2, it says that it's equal to 1. And we are pretty sure that that is not correct. So what we can do is, instead of using int, which is integers meaning whole numbers, we can do what is called a float or a double. Remember we talked about data types? Well, a float or a double are basically decimal point numbers. A float is pretty precise and a double is very precise. So let's just, for the fun of it, use a double. So let's type double there. And instead of int here, we'll type double 2. Then instead of convert dot to int 32, we'll do convert dot to double. And do the same down here. Convert dot to double. And then we should actually be able to divide uneven numbers. So now when we hit play here, or get a decimal point result is what I mean. So when we enter a number, let's do 3 divided by 2, you can say that the answer is 1.5. And this also allows us to maybe divide 12.5 by 2.3, and it will give us the exact result. So now we can do pretty heavy calculations with this program. Cool, so now let's delve right into the subject of today, which is if statements. And we are going to write a program that asks the user how old he or she is, and then write out things depending on the age. So this is useful for gathering data or for checking the age of the user if you're, say, making a game that has blood in it, or just want to check for explicit content in general. So let's do console.writeLine. And inside of this, we're going to ask, how old are you? Question mark. And then on the next line, we're going to make a integer called age, because age is rounded numbers. And then we're going to equal this to convert.toInt32, as we've done multiple times. And then inside of these two parentheses, we're going to type console.readLine, and then remember to open and close parentheses there also. So nothing new here. What we are then going to do is we're going to type if, and then 2 parentheses like these, but don't put a semicolon right here. That's very important. With if statements, we don't put a semicolon. And then inside of the parentheses here is where we will put our condition. So if age is less than, this is the less than operator, 18, then we can do something. I'm just going to show you the different conditional operators, meaning the stuff we can check for. So if age is less than, then there's greater than, then there's is equal to. So really watch out that you have 2 equal signs whenever you're checking for something, and 1 when you're setting something equal to something else. So this is if age is equal to 18. Then we have stuff like is not equal to, is less than or equal to, or is more than or equal to. Okay, so we're gonna check if age is less than 18. Then we're gonna open and close some curly brackets, and inside of those, everything that will happen if we meet our criteria will be put. So just like we have a function, and everything inside the curly brackets that belong to that function will be executed if that function is called, and the main function is called when the program starts. So that just means everything basically. We have an if statement where everything inside of these 2 curly brackets will be executed if the criteria is met. So here we're going to say console.writeLine, and we're going to write, that's too bad, you will have to wait a couple of years. Then after the if statement, and this is where it becomes pretty cool, we can do something if the criteria is not met. And even better, we can, if the criteria is not met, we can check for something else. So we can do else, which will just call the code if the criteria is not met. Or we can do else if, where we can then check for another thing. So we can check if age is then equal to 18. We can type console.writeLine, and then here we can write, pew, barely made it. And then here we can put an else statement. So we don't want to check for anything, and we can type console.writeLine. And then at final we can write you are allowed to enter. So let me just show you how we can read through this. Oh, actually we also have to put the, oops, console.read key, just so our program won't quit. So let me just read through this so you know how to read these if statements aloud. So we are writing a line to the console asking how old are you. We're then collecting the age based on a console.read line and converting it to an integer. Then we are asking if the age is less than 18, and if it is, we write out this line. If it's not, we want to check if the age is equal to 18. And if it is, we write out this line. And if it's still not, then we just do else, meaning that if it's not below or equal to 18, this line will be called. Cool. So now we can just go ahead and hit play to test this out. How old are you? I'm just going to write 17. That's too bad. You still have to wait a couple of years. And now we hit enter and the program closes. We can of course also try, let's say 18. It works. And then we can try maybe 45. Cool, so that is how you do conditional logic. You can make many different things using if statements just like this. So the challenge for the next video is to create a small application where the user have to do solve math problems. So what we will do is we will start out by creating 2 integer variables. Then we want to ask the user, what is num1 divided by num2? Just print it out. Then you want to collect the user's answer and store it in a variable. Then I want you to check if that is true. And if it is, write out that that's true. And if it's not, then write out, you better try again. So that's your challenge for the next video, because once you have that in place, I'm going to show you a very simple way to make that a little bit more fun. Cool, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.